I'm new from Forsaken. Hopefully, I won't get killed. That would be stupid bad. Yikes! It's Jason from that old Area 51 game where you survive and kill the killers. Haha, I go in Forsaken kill you. Hello, I two-time, and I just got rework! You Jason are Forsaken dead! Yay, two-time! Yikes.
Taff. Taff is the newest survivor added to Forsaken. Prior to being Forsaken, he was a demolitionist who served admins, one of them even being Builderman. He destroyed the homes of users who were terminated and reused the parts for building new homes. He was then hunted down by angry protesters because he couldn't confirm if the terminations were accidental but destroyed the homes anyway. This caused him to lock inside his home with traps in case any of the protesters found him. Now Forsaken, he is described as a mute demolitionist who used to blow up and destroy the houses of terminated users at the will of Builderman. He is the first trapper survivor. He makes traps for the other killers so that the other survivors can escape. He has two abilities. He can place a tripwire on the ground that slows down the killer and tells the other survivors where the killer is. He can also place a subspace trip mine that goes invisible after placing it. When a killer stands close to it, it detonates, and the killer will be unable to use any of their abilities, and the vision will be very dark and pinkish for 5 seconds. Taff will also have his vision altered if he is close to the subspace trip mine as it detonates. If the killer knows where the subspace trip mine is before running into it, they can use a ranged attack to trigger it, and will only receive a slight change to their vision for a few seconds. Since Taff is mute, he communicates with the other survivors using gestures and hand signals, but his chat messages use emojis so players can tell what he's saying. His face is also shadowed by the hood and mask he wears. He knows some of the survivors, but they don't know him. He was previously responsible for blowing up their houses when they mysteriously vanished. He thinks he is Builderman's right-hand man because of all the work he did for him, but he's just parasocial. Taff was originally going to release on March 29th, but was delayed by a day because the Forsaken Discord got nuked. All his stats are the same, except he only has 90 max health. Watch the full video on YouTube.
Look to the left, look to the right. Any course? No.
Time for some
Miller.
7 minutes is all I can.
I was so sorry that's the way you're fighting. Oh, my stomach!
You got the bikini.
Bro, I'm lagging! What? Do you actually think you can defeat me?
Are you kidding? I hate this stupid guy!
Sonic, dead, flying, I could totally beat you in Fortnite.
Congratulations, you won!
Two Time. Before explaining Two Time, the developers have confirmed that a complete rework of his character is coming soon because his initial release wasn't finished. So depending on when you see this section may be outdated. Two Time is a survivalist who is described as a fragile cultist holding a horrible secret. He believes he is a shadow, and he feels guilty for betraying Azure, a close partner he had while in a cult. The cult believed in respawning and resurrection, hence why Two Time says shadows die twice, and why his name is Two Time. While Two Time and Azure were in the cult, Two Time became demented over time until he stabbed and killed Azure with a dagger, believing it to be a necessary sacrifice for the cult, though he later regrets doing this and apologizes for killing Azure. However, Azure resents him for doing this, and Azure is confirmed to be coming to the game soon. Two Time only has one move in the game. When he dies, he is reborn with 40 health, but his max health increases to 110 instead of 80. Besides the health change, his stats are also the same as Noob's. His appearance also changes to showcase his respawn. During a round, he has a straight face for most of the round, but after dying and respawning, his expression turns more manic as he smiles. He keeps his smile even when at low health, and doesn't frown until he dies. His body is also covered in spawn points, with him having a spawn symbol on his chest, and his tail being made of parts of the symbol. He also grows a pair of wings that are also made from parts of the spawn symbol, and the spawn on the chest glows white upon respawning. Two Time also gives all the other survivors off-putting feelings. Whenever interacting with them, he always tries to bring up his cult. Watch the full video on YouTube. Chance. Chance is a Sentinel survivor and the personification of a gambling addiction. He is also the first and only survivor to be an IRL plushie. Chance has 5 abilities. Unpredictable Fate makes him start the round out with max health from 70 to 90. He can flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, all of his other abilities will charge. But if it's tails, he gets a weakness debuff, and it stacks. Shoot is one of those abilities that the coin can charge. It is a flintlock and has a 25% chance to explode, dealing 45 damage to Chance and disabling the move permanently. It also has a 25% chance to not go off, and the remaining 50% chance stuns any killer that gets shot for 1 to 5 seconds. Another chargeable move is Reroll, which changes his max health to a value from 50 to 130. His last move, Hat Fix, resets all his weakness debuffs back to 1 if they were stacked, and removes all the charges on his other abilities, also fixing the Flintlock if it was exploded. He starts the round off with a smug expression that quickly changes to a nervous expression if he is below 50% health. Chance is the most unique survivor in the game, with him having a passive and 4 abilities. He is also the only survivor who can willingly change his max health. The variety in his max health also makes him technically the survivor with the lowest and highest max health. In the Forsaken lore, Chance and Eye-Trapped are buddies, and Eye-Trapped is an upcoming killer. The way they became buddies is explained in Chance's lore, but it is currently being remade, so as of now, them being buddies is the only thing confirmed. As to why Eye-Trapped is an upcoming killer, he was the main exploiter behind the 2012 incident and tried to crash the Roblox economy. Watch the full video on YouTube. 1x1x1x1 is based on the urban legend that started in 2007 when the original account was created. For the sake of yours and my own sanity, I will refer to him as 1x1 throughout this explanation. 1x1 was rumored to be a 4th dimensional being who hated Roblox for being 3-dimensional and vowed to destroy it, but he was actually just a test account Shedletsky had made. In Forsaken, he is known as the personification of all of Shedletsky's malice and negativity. Despite him being created by Shedletsky, he hates Shedletsky more than anything else. If Shedletsky and 1x1 are the only people left during a round, a special theme titled Creation of Hatred will play. Shedletsky is also the person he kills during his intro cutscene. He has 6 moves. Parasitic is a passive that makes any player damaged by him glitched and poisoned. He can swing his sword in front of him, and if it connects with a survivor, it does 20 damage. Mass Infection allows him to wind up both his swords and slash them horizontally, creating a shockwave that lasts 6 seconds and does 35 damage. Entanglement allows him to wind up both his swords again, but this time he throws them and they last 10 seconds and have a speed of 125 studs per second, which if you didn't know is really fast. If they hit a survivor, they deal 10 damage, give 1x1 a speed boost, reveal the survivor's location, and force the survivor to stop moving or do anything until they complete a minigame, where they have to collect 5 pop-ups on their screen. Unstable Eye happens when 1x1 digs into his eye and pulls it out, making him temporarily blind but also revealing the location of all survivors. Rejuvenate the Rotten is his last move. He stabs himself with his swords, and after pulling them out, they resurrect any players he has killed in the form of rotten zombies that serve him. These zombies wander around until they get within 30 studs of another survivor, and then they target them. They deal 14 damage to other players, and they themselves have 10 health. Despite them serving 1x1, he can still kill them, which gives him a slight speed boost. He is the most expensive killer, costing 1,250 player points, and he's also the slowest killer with a walk speed of only 8 and a sprint speed of 27. He has 1,100 health and 110 stamina. Before we discuss the leaked, upcoming, and unreleased killers, comment below your killer main, or survivor main if you will. I'm trying to prove a point to something. And
He sees her in-game, she's right there, but to him, she's just another survivor to hunt. Although, there's a twist. Dev notes and lore entries suggest that if it weren't for a force called the Spectre, which is the being that controls the universe of Forsaken, if it wasn't for this entity, John might have remembered Jane. He might have fallen for her again. There's still something in him buried deep down that knows her, but the Spectre blocks it intentionally, and that makes him even more tragic than terrifying. Okay, so here's where things get oddly wholesome. These are basically personality traits and more kind of random lore that we've gotten about John Doe. So John Doe canonically likes spaghetti. He prefers pancakes over waffles. He's a master at grilling and enjoys either super basic meals or super fancy ones. Nothing in between. Also, Cool Kid is canonically scared of him. Like in the in-game universe, he's straight up terrified. And 7 and 7, which would be Cool Kid's adoptive father, used to tell stories about John Doe before bedtime. What bedtime stories those were, we don't know, but if Cool Kid is scared of him, they're probably not good. Originally, John Doe had voice lines and a completely different moveset, but the devs decided it didn't fit. He's supposed to be silent, glitched, blank, incomplete. Some of his skins though do have voice lines, so there's always that if you want to hear him speak. And he only has 10 skins, the lowest out of any killer, which kind of fits. He's not supposed to be customizable. He's anyone or no one. So now let's talk about Jane Doe for a second. She's an upcoming support slash sentinel survivor, the first of her kind within Forsaken. Visually, she's got this yellow Robloxian skin, pink hair, a black hat, and jeans. But the most striking part, her eyes are always hidden in shadow. She's canonically married to John Doe, and she's still fighting, trying to survive in the same world that broke him. Of course, due to the corruption, he doesn't recognize her. This is also why he cannot think coherently or properly due to that fact. There's also a high likelihood, I mean, to me it's basically confirmed, but that the two of them will have a special last man standing interaction slash theme, OST, whatever you want to call it. This actually hasn't been officially confirmed, but it's pretty obvious, like, come on. So here's the thing. John Doe started as a joke, a myth, a fake hacker based on a glitchy old account. But Forsaken took that myth and made it real. They turned him into a tragic figure, a corrupted killer who forgot who he was, forgot the person he loved, and who might still deep down remember. Kind of wild that a blank test account turned into all of this. Or cracks appear in this delusion that he has. When forced to kill his adoptive father, he lays him gently on the ground, showing a flicker of the love and bond they once shared. Torn between the twisted perception of a game and the love of a child who doesn't really understand what's happening. Cool Kid's fractured innocence is revealed even more in how he interacts with survivors. He still recognizes people like Elliot, which he had once exploited with the Work at a Pizza Place game. There are specific voice lines for Elliot.
Look familiar. Oh well.
but the Spectre clouds his recognition, turning everything into another twisted game. Despite Cool Kid seeming to have fun, laughing, there is a sense of guilt. He's just a child that wants to play, but he doesn't really grasp what he's doing. He doesn't understand the consequences of his actions. At just 10 years old, Cool Kid is the youngest killer in Forsaken. Despite his innocence, he's been pulled into a world of violence he can't escape. He thinks he's having fun with friends, just being a little rough, but he doesn't realize he's killing them. The Spectre controls his every move, trapping him in this twisted existence where each round resets the cycle. And Cool Kid's tragic innocence is forever caught in the middle of this. What's interesting about Cool Kid's lore too is that there are 2 skins that he has which aren't just for cosmetics. Like, it isn't for you just to look cool, but they're actually connected to Cool Kid and they have kind of like their own lore. It really isn't much, but there is something that you can build off of. The first skin is Blue Dude, which is not the same as Cool Kid. This is a different person. He represents a darker, edgier version of a Forsaken being. He shares a deep hatred for Cool Kid. The exact reason isn't clear, like it isn't stated or anything, but he shares his hatred with Pretty Princess, who also despises Cool Kid, but the exact reasons are still unknown. Blue Dude stands as a contrast. He's not just a skin of Cool Kid, lore-wise, but a completely distinct character with his own unique backstory. Obviously, we don't know what it is yet, but the foundations are already set for these skins to have more story later on in the future. The next skin is Pretty Princess. Like Blue Dude, she hates Cool Kid. She's a twisted parody. At 11 years old, she's slightly older than Cool Kid. Her personality mirrors Cool Kid in a more disturbing way. Playful, but with a subtle malice underneath. She may represent innocence pushed to the edge, just like Cool Kid, but in a more performative, ego-driven way. She might be more conscious of what she's actually doing, to whereas Cool Kid is more innocent. He doesn't really know what he's doing. And that is all for the Cool Kid lore. Forsaken's lore is actually pretty interesting, even though there isn't much of it yet. The creator Soul has said on Twitter that he'll be focusing more on the narrative aspect of the game going forward. Despite not having a huge amount of lore yet, there are still characters with really intriguing backgrounds like 007, Shaletsky, and 1x4. If you guys are interested in lore videos on those characters, let me know and I'll make them. If you made it this far into the video, you might as well like and subscribe. Only 0.2% of my viewers are actually subscribed. It helps the channel out a ton. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.